Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going through a couple of items in my wardrobe and in my collection that I'm not really getting a lot of use out of that I'm considering selling. This is going to be an update on some items that I've sold out of my collection, and some of them I think I'm going to need your help. Let's hear your opinions on my picks and comment down below if there's anything that you're about ready to say goodbye to. So the first thing I want to say is that the past couple of months have been, I feel like I've been in a little bit of a shopping frenzy. Like I feel like I've bought a lot of new items. There's a lot of new blood in my wardrobe and in my bag collection all of a sudden. So basically I just feel like I have too much, and especially considering I don't use as much as I have, I really feel like I'm in the beginnings of like mausoleum closet, and that's just not where I want to be. So with all of these like huge additions to my wardrobe, like I just feel like it's time to let a couple of things go, to recoup some money, just feel like I'm being a little bit more responsible and less ridiculous in some of my purchases. A lot has come in and I need maybe a couple to go out. Now, by no means am I going to actually sell all the bags in this video. This is sort of me just talking it through, and hopefully some of the things that I say here can be useful to you when it comes time for you to maybe purge a couple of items out of your closet. Years ago, I did a video on how to know when to keep or sell your handbags, but I'm going to be using a lot of like those type of insights today in this video, and hopefully the ideas bounce off of your head and it may convince you to end up selling or disposing of some of your items in your own wardrobe. So hope you guys enjoy. First up, I have this one. This is a white Gucci bag. It's vintage, and while I do absolutely love it, I think it is a great classic. I had this in at my old job for years, and it was one of my favorite things that we've had available for sale. I think it is so stunning and classic, and I ended up purchasing it just because I liked it for all of those years and finally saw it come up on the pre-loved market. But I have to face reality. This is too small of a bag for me. As much as I love it, as much as I think it is gorgeous and stunning and simple and elegant, I can't fit anything in here. There's really not a lot of space in here, and I am just not a tiny bag girl. Maybe one day I will finally get that message about myself. Is it an effort to wear it? Is it an effort to use it? Do you enjoy using it, or does it feel like a chore? It's just, I think it's one that I'm gonna have to put back in my like long lost archives. I had it, I loved it. I've used this one time, honestly, and that was on Halloween. I think I need to be realistic and say that this is maybe not the best bag for me as much as I love it aesthetically. Doesn't that suck when you just can appreciate something, love it so much, but just know that it just does not work. It does not work for me or my lifestyle or my needs, and that makes me sad. I, right now, am full of dread. I'm looking at this. This is one of the namesake classic standard KWSHOPS specials, and I have not pulled out this bag to use in years, even before the pandemic. If you have not used something, be it a handbag, be it a pair of shoes, kitchen appliance, if you haven't used it in a year, does it really need to be a part of your life? This is the Tom Ford Mini Jennifer bag. If any of you are new to this bag, this is one of like my classic staples. This is the second bag that I ever purchased myself. I bought this in 2015. I've gotten a lot of use out of it, but you know what? I just really find that even before the you-know-what happened in the world, like it was already a stretch for me to get into a bag this size. But even still, this color is awkward for me. I'm not a pink person. Normally I do pair it with like a gold toned shoe, but it's just a very difficult color to wear, and especially now that I carry a little bit more things such as like a car key, this is almost impossible for me to use anymore. So I think that this is great for a tiny bag lover, and I am just not that. But the only problem is that even though this color doesn't work for me, like when I actually try to put it together with other items in my wardrobe, I just look at it and find it stunning. But like, who is this person with this pink bag? I don't know that I'm gonna follow through and actually sell this, but I do know that every time I go to wear it, I end up picking something else, and you know, that's not great. Everything inside of me except nostalgia is telling me that I need to sell this bag, but I don't think I'm going to. Next up is this one from Brandon Blackwood. You may know this as the ESR tote. It says End Systemic Racism. It's a very cute bag. It was one of their, like one of the first ones that I saw that Brandon Blackwood created. And it's just a little, very simple canvas tote. It has a little canvas strap. But once again, as the theme so far that you've seen from this video is that I am not a tiny bag girl. Now, I will be honest and say that I bought this more so out of like, because the message is something that resonates with me. I just think that, you know, my commitment to this message is a lot bigger than a slogan printed on a bag. I also think that like slogan-y stuff really isn't my style so much when it comes to bag. Words are better on t-shirts and stuff like that. There's not a lot I can do with this bag. It's way too small for me. But it's not really my style, and I think that someone else could give it a better home, a better life. Someone else could put this with their outfits and, you know, put this message out here in a way that I just don't think I can. I've also replaced the ESR tote with the bag that I actually wanted, and that was the Brandon Blackwood Bamboo. Even though this one is also tiny and I struggle to put my things in it, I can make that struggle because this is just definitely more my vibe, more my style, a little bit more like striking. This is just kind of like a little canvas bag that I think is going to have a great new home with someone else. And now this one I've sold already. This one is already making its way to a new home, and that is my Gucci Marmont clutch. I love this bag so much, but I just really, once again, I hadn't used it. I hadn't used it in a really long time, and I felt like I just have other black bags with gold hardware, most notably my Fendi, that kind of took its place. And like I said, I just don't really feel like my living space is really equipped to have like so many bags. If I'm always choosing one similar style bag over the other, then I really need to consider if I want to keep the other one in my wardrobe. And for that one, I got a really good offer on it, and I decided to part ways with it. So it's on its way to a new home. Sing praises for that bag and call it weird all at the same time, because it is a weird bag. It was a very weird bag, but I loved it. It is entering a new chapter in its journey. So sad to see it go, but I'm glad it's, you know, going to a good home. I think these two bags are way too similar. So I love this vintage Gucci. It's really cool. It came with the box. I think it's from the early 80s. It has like lizard stamped into it. But ultimately the size on this is really close to the size on this Chanel bag. And I just find that what's going to continue to happen is that when it comes time to style an outfit and I go to reach for this bag, I may end up reaching for the Chanel every single time instead. And I really don't like that for a bag in my wardrobe. But the fact is, I just do really love this. I think it is so beautiful and unique and simple and chic and elegant. And I just love vintage. So now its days are not necessarily numbered, but I really don't love that I have two bags that are this similar, and I know myself, I know that I will probably end up reaching for this one a lot more. This doesn't really work so well casually, so it's definitely dressier, except I don't love that. This may not be in this you know, first purge here, but I don't know if this is going to be a lifer for me. And I did a whole like 2-week press release on another bag that I did also part with, and that was my Chanel silver medium flap. I'll leave the video, my video review, pretty much bashing it down below. I don't need to get that much more into it, but I just do know that this was a better selection for me in my wardrobe, and I could not be happier with this one. The Chanel, I think the Chanel classic flap, the Chanel boy, the Chanel wallet on chain, all of the minis, like pretty much anything classic, anything that is like notable to the fashion house, like bag wise, I think it's just not meant for me. But yeah, that is one that I also have already purged. I bought this knowing that it was going to be difficult for me to style. This is the Givenchy Infinity in ombre with black hardware, and like this blackout hardware I think is just a little bit too edgy and like avant-garde for me in my style, if I can even call it that. I just don't know if I can like bring the fits. So far I've paired it with like a blazer and shorts, but you know, it's already May here and we are way out of our blazer season here in Miami. So I don't know. It's just, it's really, this bag is surprisingly hard for me to create an outfit around. You think like, oh, just wear black, but whatever I'm doing, it's not like right. And this is a bag that you have to come correct for. Is it an effort to wear it? Is it an effort to use it? Do you enjoy using it, or does it feel like a chore? Are you able to carry whatever bag it is that you're considering selling? Is it easy for you to implement with your current wardrobe? I'm honest with myself and say, Catherine, you're not this cool. Maybe you should go for the plain one with the metallic hardware, because I think that might have been the correct move. I saw this and leapt with my heart instead, but I think that plain black and silver, plain black and gold might be the move for me. I try to tell you guys all the time, I'm not as cool as I look. This is way too cool for me. I think that 2 vintage green Louis Vuitton Epi bags is a lot for my collection. I think it's one too many. Now, this is the GM St. Cloud. One of my very favorite bags of all time is the monogram one that I have right there. But yeah, I am just such a great fan of this bag, and green really, even though green's very popular and trendy right now, green actually is my favorite color, and I've had green bags before in my wardrobe. I love this, and I find it really, really easy to wear. I could imagine potentially, even though I don't like to have like multiples of things, I could imagine like having like a little modest collection of Louis Vuitton St. Cloud, just because I am such a big fan of this bag and I just think they're great. So I think that this has some staying power in my wardrobe. But I initially went for this just because I was searching for one of these. And I decided that I really wanted to add a green Epi item into my wardrobe, and I was looking for one of these so I could add this chain from Etsy to it. I really like this look. I think it does the look for less very well. We've talked about that for like the some of the Bottega bags. But I mean, realistically, I just don't need 2. Maybe I will play around with actually like wearing this a couple of times, but I think this one is going to find a new home within the next weeks or months. Isn't this cool though? This is cool, and that I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to sell this, but it'll have a new home. It'll have a new home and a new life eventually. So yeah, my collection, especially the bags that I use on a regular basis, I tend to reach for the same things over and over and over again. These bags that I've featured in this video are just some that I'm not getting the use out of. Now, I have a couple of bags in my collection that definitely are for like collector's purposes. I think that this pile that I have all around me, all the bags that I've shown you today, is taking that a little bit to the extreme, at least for me and my collection. So I am definitely going to be paring down, but I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on anything that you think I could take to the chopping block, so to speak. If you have any bags that you have recently sold or are considering selling in your collection, I'd love to hear what those are and why. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!